Today we're talking about respiratory cold and flu, why it comes around this time of year, and what we can do to prevent it.
The fall brings in the windy season, and whether the temperatures near you have cooled down or not, if you pay really close attention, you'll see that this wind element is occurring as the season is shifting. This is going to bring in dry conditions, not just to the air, but also to our skin, our lungs, and our gut.
And in traditional Chinese medicine, the fall is the season of the skin, the lungs, and the gut. They're all stimulated during this time of year and need to be nourished by the seasonal foods, specifically things like onions and garlic, because they contain this element of mucilage, which is like a sticky form of hydration.
And so onions and garlic are like this antibacterial sweep through your body. They'll deeply hydrate you and nourish you, and they add this protective barrier to your insides.
So as the seasons change, it's really important that we adapt to the change energetically and also with our seasonal foods, because otherwise it would be like standing in the ocean, rigid as a board, and this new wave energy comes and slaps you right in the face, when you could just move with that new energy and completely adapt to that situation. So it's the exact same thing. When we look to the summertime and what we were eating, that food was really hydrating, really sweet, full of nutrition and vitamins, which is going to help our immune system for the fall. But we really want to make sure that we switch over and start bringing in these seasonal foods, because that's going to help us adapt to this changing season.
In the fall, we tend to gather more often inside too, and we've just been off exploring and gallivanting, exposed to new bacterias and viruses. And as we come back together, whether at school, the office, football parties, we're going to be exposed to more. But why does one person get sick and not everyone? So, we can't blame Dwight at the office who came in with a cold and touched your stapler. If you get sick, this is your own fault. This is your immune system not able to handle it. It's weakened, and there's some work to do to support it.
So it's okay to get sick here and there, but again, if we are frequently getting sick all the time, the same time of year, or your sickness is really extreme and knocking you on your back, then that's showing that there's an imbalance that really needs to be addressed. And the simplest way of doing that is by bringing in these seasonal foods, because what that's going to do is bring in the energy of this season that's going to match the earth, so then your health is much more balanced.
And if you do get sick with a cold or a flu, it could either be bacterial or viral. Most of the time it's viral, and the only thing to do is to support your immune system and let it run through your body. A lot of times we run to the doctor and they prescribe an antibiotic just in case. But let's be clear that an antibiotic doesn't help a viral infection. It only treats a bacterial infection. So if you do get sick, the best thing you can do is try and heal on your own and not jump right to antibiotics, which is killing off our microbiome and being way overprescribed.
So our favorite way to support our body and to heal naturally is through all of these seasonal foods. Like we were saying, the onions and the garlic with their beautiful mucilage. We're looking to the herbs like thyme and oregano. And thyme is great for the lungs and for viruses. You can make a simple tea just with hot water and some fresh thyme. You can look to oregano. It's nature's antibiotic, which means it's going to help with bacterial infections. We look to things like mushrooms, and you see that these lungs are inside of the mushroom. That's the way that they're filtering the air. They're going to be fantastic for our own lungs. We look to bone broth, full of collagen, really rich and healthy for the gut. And also all of our probiotic rich foods like kimchi or miso. So what we made for you today is this beautiful French onion soup that has so many of these ingredients in them, and you can enjoy it alongside some sourdough bread spread with some grass-fed butter and roasted garlic.
So head on over to simply-seasonal.com, sign up for emails, get our French onion soup recipe, and so much more.
Well, that sounds simple enough.
Because it's simply seasonal.
So when it comes to bone broth or any type of broth, quality is really key. What we see on the shelf, because it's become so popular, are things that have all these different fillers, things like concentrate.
Yeast extract is something that's a hidden MSG.
Bouillon kind of cubes, which is MSG.
Colorings.
Yeah.
Sugar added. Yeah.
Caramel color. But there are some really good ones that you can buy in the store. This one is a brand that we love called Bonafide. And when you read the ingredients, it literally says organic beef bones, organic onion, organic apple cider vinegar, organic garlic, Celtic sea salt, and organic parsley. And then it also says that it's been gently simmering for 24 to 48 hours.
So this was $10. And so to do this at home, you take the carcass of what you've already cooked, you eat all the meat, you're just gonna throw it in the garbage anyway. You put it in your slow cooker with water and salt, and what if you just saved all your veggie scraps from when you're cooking instead of throwing them in the trash? You just keep building them up in your freezer in a baggie. So then you just dump this into the slow cooker with your carcass, and you let it cook in your slow cooker for 12 to 48 hours. When it's done, you just drain it and squeeze all that out and get all that delicious, nutritious broth from that. Store it in containers like these, and you have them in your freezer ready to go anytime you want to make something like French onion soup.